Hello and welcome to the Miniatures Rundown Podcast, Episode 3. I'm Josh.
I'm CJ.
And today we've got a lot of topics to cover. It's been a while. We had a bit of an unplanned hiatus because someone got the Nurgles.
Look, I was not sick last time, and then I don't know where I went. I'm putting the blame squarely on that hobby shop that we went to.
Okay, first off, I refuse to blame Hobbytown USA for that.
I have no idea.
I went there again and picked up some Vallejo paint. I found pale sand. It was great.
Finally.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how I got it, but I ended up with it, and now I don't have it anymore. Yeah,
as tends to happen, and you survived. And that wasn't the only reason. It was
it
also,
turns out, hey, that their vaccination, it did good.
get your shots.
Yeah, get your shots.
But it was also just, Christmas, winter,
Christmas,
holidays.
winter, got sick. Then I had to do basically the first time I had been at the store in about 2 weeks was to run the tournament.
Yeah, which
Video coming soon.
Video coming soon on that. We won't talk a lot about that, even though I'm going to ask, hey, CJ, what you been up to recently? And I think you just answered that.
Yeah,
which is
pretty much it.
Being sick and organizing and running the first Warhammer 40K tournament that our shop has seen in
2 years.
2 years. Okay, so basically since COVID started.
Yeah.
I was there grabbing footage. It was fun. I didn't play, but it was fun.
Yeah, I found out that apparently you got the DTs in your hands, so
The jitters.
yeah, you got the staggers.
You
and
just
jags.
figured that out?
Oh no, like I knew it, I'd seen it, but like, oh well, maybe the camera will compensate for that. No,
I'm very sorry. Next time we'll get a tripod.
yeah, we'll be fine.
Epilepsy warning on that video when you see it. Because
Don't worry,
I have
I'll do my magic to it, and it'll be fine.
descaling or whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
So hey, yeah, games that we've played in the last couple of weeks. Have you gotten a couple of rounds of AOS in?
No, I've also been kind of quarantining over break with the explosion.
Yeah,
in,
just safety first.
And the school year started, so I've been very busy.
Mm-hmm.
With the whole teaching thing and then
Yeah.
COVID and so I have not got a lot of games in.
Yeah.
I have been preparing for the newest game I have started playing, which has been Necromunda,
Hey.
which I believe you are also in on.
Yes.
Are you playing Palanites?
Yes.
Or Palatines?
Palanites.
Palanites. Yeah, it's Palanites.
We're not your pals, but
I always get those two mixed up.
I thought they were like Panelites for the longest time. Or
That would
like
make sense because they have
Palatines.
armor panels.
No.
I don't know.
No.
They're the Necromunda cops.
Yeah.
So,
All never mind.
yeah.
ACAB, especially mine.
To be fair, the Warhammer 40,000 universe is a universe which absolutely agrees that about well, they're just another gang for a reason.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I'll be playing Escher.
Okay.
But I'll also be arbitrating this whole shindig. So we'll see how much playing I do. But I am the sixth person, so I think I will be playing just to make sure.
Right.
If we
Yeah.
get a seventh person, I might just go back to arbitrating because, and we'll actually be talking about that Sunday when we have our session 0.
Yay.
So besides that, I haven't been doing much. Been painting a lot. Maybe some pictures here of the train I've been painted up. Hope to see those on the table here soon.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, yeah, and you have been in 40K mode, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, so I didn't play. I didn't play the tournament.
No,
because I was TOing.
Right.
And I didn't play Monday night either because I was just like, I'm tired.
A little 40K'd out. Yeah,
I was a little 40K'd out. That didn't stop us from having a full house as usual.
Nope.
Of people who were at the tournament. It was like, you were just playing this game.
It's almost like when you organize communities, they tend to keep self-functioning even when you aren't there to make them all come.
Anyway,
Video idea.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was interesting. I didn't have anything. Like, I wasn't feeling super hot like I needed to play. And I was just like, you know what? You guys all made the trek out here. So you guys play and I'll sit out. And I just talked shop with one of the other guys about Aeronautica, which we'll be talking about later.
Ah, yes, we will.
And then last night I got my first game with Deepkin in.
Ooh.
In 3rd edition.
You know what? Let's segue right away because, hey, speaking of Deepkin.
Yeah.
News.
I dumpstered my opponent last night with Deepkin. It was great. Anyway, hey, we got wet and dry.
So I've been calling it the hot and wet box. That might get censored.
I hate you. Anyway, carry on.
It's Fire Slayers versus Ideneth Deepkin for Age of Sigmar. Sorry, should have stated that.
Yeah. That's coming out this coming Saturday.
Yep, it went for pre-order this Saturday.
And
by the time this episode comes out, it will be out.
Yeah, probably.
Yes. So if you're into Fire Slayers or Deepkin, it's the usual Games Workshop battle box routine where 2 opposing factions, roughly evenly balanced.
Yeah, give or take.
1 new hero for each one, and then some old units thrown in. Now, in this case, both Fire Slayers and Ideneth are brand new armies to AOS, as in they came out with AOS.
Right, yeah.
So there's no old models in here at all, is what I'm saying. These are all nice new models.
Yeah.
Neither of them are my aesthetic in any way, shape, or form, so I can't comment on how they look.
The fish elves don't have the cool fish stuff that I want them to have, and the Fire Slayers are. I'm gonna lay this out here. Like, all of my buddies love dwarves and their aesthetic. I hate them. I hate them.
See, I love the Caradron aesthetic because I'm a sucker for steampunk.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I don't.
But if they weren't dwarves, I wouldn't be any less happy with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these they're they're literally running around, hanging brain the whole time. I hate it. I don't like Fire Slayers. The only cool thing is the Magmadroth, and even then,
they have a very limited model range, and probably the bigger problem. I think this was something touched on by the Warhammer Weekly show. Where they did a very, very large survey of aesthetics in Age of Sigmar, and the Fire Slayers ranked dead last in that survey.
Right under Skaven.
Oh, no, Skaven ranked very high.
Why?
Well, because it wasn't about model aesthetics necessarily. It was about people's love for the aesthetics of the army.
Got
and Skaven have a lot of aspirational aesthetic. Yeah, some of those old...
Take your word for it.
Well, some of those old models don't hold up.
Right.
But the idea of Skaven...
Okay.
And they have new models that look really, really good.
That's true, yeah.
Fire Slayers have a very limited range, and a lot of them look very, very similar.
And they look stupid.
If you put all the different types of berserkers, if you put all the foot units in Fire Slayers in front of me, I could not tell you the difference.
No. That guy's got an halberd. That guy's got 2 axes. They're none of them wearing pants.
That's... You're stuck on the pants here.
Look, I have long accepted that in Warhammer, in any sort of Warhammer game, there will come a time when you have to highlight an elven maiden's shapely bum. I did not sign on for stinky, greasy, meat-looking dwarves.
So I wear a kilt. What's it to you? Swing away, me boys, away-oh.
Wear some pants.
No.
Wear some pants.
Never.
Anyway.
Nevermore shall we wear pants and away, swing away. So you're not a fan of Fire Slayers.
No, I don't like Fire Slayers, and I don't really care for anything that's in the Ideneth box.
But you are a fan of Deepkin.
Oh, yeah, no.
But are you going to get the box?
No.
Okay.
I have all this stuff in the box already.
Even though the box comes with new rules for Deepkin.
Yeah. La-di-da, I'll wait for the codex to come out.
Which brings us to... I think if we were not living in a COVID world,
yes,
that this would be accompanied by codex releases.
I think so,
a la Feast of Bones and...
well, no, there's a Feast of Bones like, those 2 codices came out, like,
yeah, it wasn't. There was a delay.
Yeah.
Those 2 books weren't in there, were they?
No, they weren't in there.
So maybe this is just
I think this is
par for the course.
I think this is their business model going forward now. Like, okay, do people... like, we're going to put out this stuff.
Here's a double box.
Here's a double box. Split it with your boys.
The models in the double box will get new rules. And for a limited time, the double box will be the only way to get those rules.
Yeah.
And then in a month, 2 months, 3 months.
Probably not even that. Like, probably like a
that's
month.
Where we come to the COVID part.
Right.
I think that's going to be a while.
Yeah. The way it was intentioned was like, all right, here's the box with all the new stuff in it, and here's your new battle tome 2 weeks later, 2-3 weeks later.
We won't go into the specifics on the rules because there's so many channels that do very, very specific
that
rules
ain't
breakdowns.
Us.
My favorite, personally, is Namardi getting a 2-inch reach.
Yeah.
Because Games Workshop, I think we made this joke in the last podcast, where Games Workshop has this problem of units on 32mm or 40mm bases with a 1-inch reach, which basically says you don't get to run them in more than 5s. Especially this edition. It was always a problem. and now it's in this edition, it's a real problem with the new coherency rules.
Yeah.
the fact that they're adding 2-inch reach to Namarti makes me think maybe they're finally understanding that if you put someone on a 32-inch base, they got to have a 2-inch reach if they're expected to fight in more than 5.
Yeah. And especially because you buy Namarti in ranks of 10.
Right.
And you mostly take them in ranks of 20.
With Namarti, it's not even an option to put them in 5s.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't think
No.
it is. Not for the foot soldiers.
Not at this point.
Right.
Maybe with the new book, but...
Maybe. Namarti are still, like, they're thralls, though.
Yeah.
They're not...
They're supposed to be a horde.
They're chaff. Yeah, they're your...
They are super chaff, yes.
Right. You know, what is it, a 6-up, 5-up save?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that?
You can get into a 4-up save. They're 5-up base, and then if they're hanging around a dragon turtle, then they become a 4-up save.
Which isn't bad.
And they hit on 2s
Yeah.
if they're near that dragon turtle.
Yeah, and those old rules combined with the new guy having these stances that buffs them, looks like they might...
Yeah, they're going to be useful finally.
Obviously, the elephant in the room, the underwater elephant in the room with the trunk, and that trunk is an eel, is the eels. Like, what happens with the eels?
Yeah.
Do they lose their incredible alpha strike potential? I'm going to make a called shot. Called shot, biovoltaic bolt is gone.
Oh, probably.
The 30, 40 mortal wounds in the charge to alpha strike a single model basically off the table. I'm going to call it now. That will not be in the new book.
I'm inclined to agree. Or it'll be changed in some way.
Now, that doesn't mean they won't be good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of accusation, and this sometimes is true and is sometimes not, that Games Workshop flips around what was good is bad and what was bad becomes good. People point to Daughters of Kane, where it used to be you never took bow snakes. You never took snakes at all. And now
you take snakes.
If you are running anything a remotely competitive list, you have at least 15 bow snakes and you have Marathi to make them shoot twice.
Right.
Because it's incredibly good. The flip side of that is I would like to point to Stormcast, where the Dragon Riders, after their points increase, are merely good, but the punch in the book is in Fulminators, who are a first wave unit. The best range in the book is Judicator. No, not Judicators. Vanguard Hunters.
Yeah.
Who are a second wave unit.
Second wave unit, yeah.
The 2 giant dragons, Krondus and Kazrai, are really fun, but like B tier at best. I'm still using them because they're B tier. Good B. They're good. You can win with those.
You paid a boatload for them.
Oh, I play boatloads for things I don't use all the time. What does that have to do with anything?
Fair enough.
I'm a sucker. That never factors in. So we'll see. We'll see if they dumpster eels to make a point. Are they going to Slanesh this? You were too good for too long.
The irony would be...
oh God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So luckily for me, I only have 9 eels, and I ran 9 eels yesterday.
You never ran eel spam anyway.
No.
Like 9's still a lot, but
I instead put 500 points into sharks.
How'd that work out?
Pretty dang good.
Sharks were so good at the beginning of 3rd edition that Cities of Sigmar players, we like to take them too.
Yeah, no,
because
they're still
that
really
net
good.
Is really good.
And the net's good. If you're in close combat and you poke somebody, excuse me, with the rider, and then you do a wound off of them, then you get an extra attack with your bite.
Blood in the wound, water, yeah.
Yeah, which is -2 damage.
Yeah.
And if you take Flaethon, you're automatically rerolling 1s to wound.
I hope this is a situation where they keep the stuff they added in Broken Realms that really made the Dragon Turtle a buff machine.
Oh, yeah.
And made the Sharks good. Because that breathed a lot of new options into the Deepkin as an army.
Yeah.
The problem is eels are so good at Alpha Strike that is still the primary way to play them.
Yeah.
When I say problem, that's not necessarily a problem. They function right now as what's called a Gatekeeper Army.
Yeah.
Where it's them. Like, you have to be able to screen and survive a Ideneth Deepkin Alpha Strike if you want to do any kind of tournament play.
Right.
You have to be able to DPS check Sons of Behemoth. And you have to be able to deal with end screen Karajan shooting.
Geez, CJ, why don't you play AOS competitively? Oh, I don't know.
I mean, every competitive war game that is made by Games Workshop, so, both of them, has this problem in some kind of respect.
It's true.
I saw that tournament, sir, on Saturday.
Yeah,
Don't tell me 40K doesn't have its own.
No, but I feel like because 40K is in its 9th edition, it has legacy that it has to live up to, whereas with AOS they could have done something even more wild and wacky with it.
I think in a lot of ways they did. And
and I think there's
a
too
lot
much
of my
backlash
complaints of
to it.
40K I think would be have to do with legacy and things they just refuse to let go of.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll get to in a bit.
I was going to say, speaking of things that need to get let go of, new Sep rules for Tau have been leaked.
Pew, pew, pew,
pew.
Yes. Mr. Hammerhead here.
I'm
assuming that's your paint job.
That is my paint
That's
job,
very
yes.
nice.
It's a Nazca class cruiser from Gundam Seed.
Aha!
Yeah, I know. You should see the rest of my army.
I mean, it's Tau. It's like, it's
Yeah.
kind of, you might as well embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
No shame in that.
I have a Fire Warrior squad that's all Votoms.
So, yeah, now these rules were, basically the entire Tau Codex got leaked, right? Including points?
Come see, come set. Yeah,
I
a
mean,
little bit.
Leaked. I don't know how much of this is just Games Workshop leaking things to build hype ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because it did what it did exactly with the Hammerhead preview and exactly with the big Storm Surge preview, which is it got people talking about how amazingly overpowered this army is going to be, which builds hype, generates interest, and gets people to run out and buy models.
Uh-huh. I mean, I already have a Storm Surge, so I didn't need another one, but...
In particular, what we wanted to touch base on was, hey, you know that invulnerable save you have?
Yeah. There's so much coming up that is ignoring invulnerable saves that I have reason to believe in 10th edition of Warhammer 40k, there will not be invuln saves anymore.
Just getting rid of it?
They're just getting rid of it, and they're replacing it with basically ward saves. Or this save cannot be modified below X. So when you have like a or if you have a dude in Gravis armor as a Space Marine captain, currently they have a 3-up, 4-up. I think that when they're like when they redo 40k in 3 or 4 years,
it'll be in 2 years because it's a 3-year cycle.
Yeah, that's true. But whenever that happens, I think it's going to be this unit's save can never be modified below X instead of having an invuln save, because it's just like it's just like chipping away at the layers, right?
So counterpoint.
Yes.
Are we seeing? Is there anything that ignores invulnerable saves outside of Tau? Could this also just be this is Tau's thing now? Is they screw over your invulnerable saves?
There are so there's Null Zone, which is a Space Marine spell. Doing a little bit. Null Zone is a big one. There's some stuff in the Necron Codex that ignores invulnerable saves.
Okay, so it's out there.
It's not unheard of. It's just with the stuff that we're seeing with the Tau, it's becoming more common.
So even more cynical counterpoint, I'm going to guess that that's not what happens. I'm going to guess they're just discovered this new design space and they're just going to play in it.
Oh, maybe.
That there will be a yet another rules pile of these things that ignore invulnerable saves that some armies have access to and some don't. That's my very cynical take on it, because that's what, to me, it feels like 40k does.
Yeah.
I know they called 9th edition the most streamlined rule set ever.
It's pretty good.
It is, but it's
really
not streamlined.
It's pretty...
It might be streamlined compared to other editions.
Old man says it's streamlined. Shush.
But AOS player says no.
Yeah, well...
Like, streamlined is relative. This is true. It might be the most streamlined 40k edition ever. It's not a streamlined rule set.
No.
And
But
every
it's a
new
streamlined
codex
40K,
is not streamlined even more, because they keep tacking on new rules, new things.
Right. But they're also doing it in an attempt to make the codices feel flavored differently than each other.
That's
which was a big problem
that's the,
by the time you got to 7th
the
edition.
fight you fight.
Yeah.
Because if you want a very streamlined rule set, you go onto one-page rules and download their 40k proxy, which is literally one page and is designed to be played with 40k minis, but with a very, very, very streamlined rule set. And it's apparently very fun if you're looking for a streamlined rule set.
Sweet.
Some people are looking for, there are a billion different things that my models can do, because they are my models and they are part of this thing, and each one adds flavor or rules interaction. I'm not casting value judgment on either of those things.
Aren't you?
I am, but I'm not casting it as objective value judgment. I'm casting it as I like one versus the other.
Subjective value judgment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's subjective, but some of you are wrong.
And people call me egotistical. Oh, here's something that you actually might care about. So that new Kill Team starter box, huh?
Yeah.
So that's all of the minis.
It's Octarius parceled out.
Cool.
So if you haven't seen,
Is it cool? I don't know.
well, I think yes,
Okay.
because
It's a better jumping off point.
Kill Team's really a bad game to try and get into.
Okay.
And we did our review in the compendium.
Yeah.
Link up in the corner, I hope.
Don't worry.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and square it.
Yeah.
I missed. Anyway,
It'll be there. Don't worry.
we did our compendium, and I was very kind of wishy-washy on the compendium.
Mm-hmm.
I have since gone full.
You were not wishy-washy on that compendium.
Well,
you were
I was
always mad at it.
I was mad at it, but I was a little more
you were
like
chill on it
but
on camera.
But I was
Yeah.
I was so in love with the game that I was like, if you like this game, maybe you could get the compendium.
Yeah.
I'm erasing that part. I hate the compendium. I despise the
It's
compendium.
not good.
No, because as we've seen these other teams come out in
Yeah.
our other reviews, maybe just like rapid fire links right here. Pew pew. Thousand Suns, Admech.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do more, whether CJ likes it or not. I'm gonna duct tape him to the table. As we've
seem
seen
to be
other
handcuffed.
things, it's not even the fact that it's not about competitive.
No.
Because guess what? 4 heavy intercessors is a really competitive build.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not fun. They don't have the fun toys that you get when you play. I legitimately think that if you are looking to get into Kill Team, and I had this talk with Terry, who I don't know you've met. He played Kill Team with us back in the old edition.
I think
he hasn't been around the shop for a while. But he was asking me
happens.
how to get into new Kill Team, and I was like trying to. And as I was explaining to this man how to get into new Kill Team with his existing models and watching his face fall, I realized how alienating it is to somebody who isn't like me, who buys all the crap anyway. Because again, sucker. Put a blow pop like right here, just on my face, because I get all this stuff anyway because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But to someone who doesn't, like, getting into Kill Team sucks.
Yeah.
Which brings us to this new starter set, which is basically just Octarius, but it doesn't have all the terrain.
Yeah. I noticed that there wasn't a lot of vertical terrain.
It was the scatter.
It was the scatter.
It was the scatter, basically.
Yeah.
But they're also releasing a set with all the terrain. And they're releasing just the Octarius book, which I also really like.
Yeah.
Because that sets the precedent of, I was afraid that things like the Octarius books or the Chalnath book were going to be locked to those limited time boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And now it looks like they're not doing that.
That's good.
And it's astounding that I would look at that and go, wow, how nice of you, Games Workshop, to continue to sell the product you made. Wait a minute, what? Yeah.
Yeah, we're...
Again, sucker.
Capitalism.
We should put a counter up in the right-hand corner.
Once per episode, bro.
Once? Are you limiting yourself to once, sir?
I'm not limiting myself.
Oh, there
I'm
you
just
go.
saying that
okay.
So far, it's been
a goal.
Once,
it's a goal. Okay. Last time you had 3.
That's true.
I think only 2 of them made it in the final cut.
Yeah, I don't. Apparently, there was about 20 minutes of me talking about NFTs that got cut.
Good. These things need to be at a different length sometimes because we will talk forever.
Where's your sense of adventure? But yeah, hey, new Kill Team box.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
So we feel like we have to clarify that this is the new Kill Team starter because we're probably going to get another Kill Team box.
Right, yes.
This quarter. Because they've said it's going to be set in whatever this new sector is called. The
Vigilus.
No. We're past Vigilus. We're past Octarius. It starts with an N.
Oh, Nihilus. Wait.
No. Nilbog? It's Sector Nilbog. Oh, I would kill for that.
Did you know there's a game called 40K Battle Sector?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. I didn't realize
anyway,
that until now.
It's the new terrain set they just announced.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I think I did.
Which looks very nice, by the way. I want to pick that up. But honestly, I'm glad the starter set exists because it gives people a new way to get into the game using these fun teams that have all the cool, fun toys.
Yes.
Which is great. More importantly, for me personally, we're getting the veterans in their own box. Finally, my veteran army that I've always wanted as soon as I saw them a year ago. Finally, that will be released. So that's Death Corps of Krieg and the Commandos are being released as individual boxes. That's it. Nachmund. AKA
Night Planet.
Yeah.
Boy, it must suck to be there.
Isn't that the story behind the Night Lords?
Oh, probably.
And also the Mordian
Vanguard, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Aren't they all on permanent night planets?
Yeah, but whatever.
Or where planets where the only habitable side is permanent night because the other side is like a baked. It's tide locked. That's it.
Tidally locked, yeah. But yeah, so the Grand Tournament mission pack Necromunda is out now, or will be out by the time this
But that
goes
same
live.
article also teased that the next kill team would be set in Necromunda.
That makes sense to me.
I don't know where. Some people were saying Rangers versus or Eldar versus Cast Space Marines. Some people are still holding out hope for squats, which I don't particularly care
Never
about.
made sense to me.
But we discussed dwarves earlier, so what if they were wearing kilts?
Cool for the price of that box set. I could buy 2 guns to kill myself with.
Wow. But anyway, I'm excited about the kill team starter set.
Yeah.
It doesn't really affect you or I because we're in already.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a nice way to get into the game.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
glad they're
better.
parceling it out in a way that makes it more accessible. Let's wait to see the price. Because if it's $200, no.
No. How about no?
If it's 150 like Hive War, the Necromunda starter,
Yeah, might be all right.
that's,
If it's 120, I'm in.
it won't be 120.
I know.
It's going to be 150.
I know.
Calling it. Called shot to the corner.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, speaking of new units coming out, new Eldar, actually.
Oh, yeah.
We got new Dark Reapers, and there's one that is definitely just wearing a Catgirl hoodie.
Gosh dang it.
Now
I have to buy them and paint them.
Yeah,
And
obviously.
they can be sit next to my Neandrasta.
Yeah, I
haven't
have
finished building.
I have 10 Dark Reapers from various points in their existence.
So I'm going to
I don't really want the new ones, but I'm going to get the new ones anyway.
I'm going to be a massive tool and rain on parades here and go that if you put those two models next to each other, I would not be able to tell you which one's the new ones.
I know.
They don't look updated.
I can tell.
Yeah, maybe it's I guess. But they don't look new to me.
I will bring you the new
They
the
still
old
look
ones.
very old style silly 40K.
Right, yeah, that's the problem. Because they have the big stupid wings on their head.
Yeah, and the top knots. I hate the top knots so much. As you hate dwarven kilts, I hate top knots. Never does a miniature make it past to the painting stage for me with a top knot. It gets cut or removed or replaced or something.
My avatar of Kane had a top knot, and I got rid of it because I thought it looked stupid.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody... It's weird that the one common ground between Eldar and the Imperium is the presence of top knots.
Well, did you see that episode of Hammer and Bolter?
I did not.
Okay. Let me tell you, every Eldar player sighed a breath of relief whenever they accuse the Tau of being weebs, because those aspect warriors are straight up samurai.
Well, I mean, originally...
Obviously.
Yeah, the Tau were the original weeb faction. Or, sorry, the Eldar. That
yeah.
was a mistake of what I said.
Yeah,
the Eldar were the original weeb faction.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of devoting yourself to an aspect is a very... It's not a specifically a Japanese culture thing. It's a Western lens on Japanese culture thing.
It's also a Western lens on Greek culture, which is the other thing.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's the thing, is the Eldar are kind of supposed to be a...
They're Greek Japan.
They're a mishmash of the...
Oh, and they're Celts.
They're a mismatch of the mystical, ancient things that Western culture kind of reveres as being far away and different and cool, but also amazing and honored and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And all the goods and bads that implies.
Yeah. They're Celts, they're medieval Japan, and then they're also ancient Greek.
Yes. And the only reason they're not Roman is because
that's the Imperium.
The Ultramarines stole it.
Yeah. But yeah, hey, it's just been so ding-dang long since we got any decent Eldar
Yeah,
models,
I am happy for them.
But yeah,
the Guardians look good.
Oh yeah, the Guardians are great.
They look like a definite improvement. But I was
You don't have to work very hard to improve
No,
them,
and maybe
though.
that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
I hope all the things that are resin for the Eldar get new. I hope this is just a massive range release.
I do too.
Even as somebody who doesn't play Eldar. I just because they really need it. And
Yeah.
I want more love for other things that aren't just Marines.
Yeah. Feel. Gee, that would be nice. Man, I hope they get some Striking Scorpions out that look good.
Yeah.
And, gee, I hope they get some... I hope they just re-release all the Phoenix Lords and make them look cool.
Yeah, I hope they just redo everything. That'd be nice.
But yeah, life, we'll find out. Life finds a way. Speaking of things going to resin, or that are in resin, the Necrons are coming to Aeronautica Imperialis
Yeah.
in Forge World.
Yeah. So I've heard people say that this is an indication that the game itself is being moved to Forge World.
Not really,
I ask
no.
if those people have ever seen anything about Necromunda or Blood Bowl,
Yeah.
where basically,
Mhm.
or heck, even Age of Sigmar for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Or rather, Warhammer Fantasy. Remember when there were Chaos Dwarves and they were just a Forge World faction?
Mm-hmm.
That's all this is.
Yeah.
It's, hey, this faction is one that we either aren't confident in or we couldn't find room for or due to other factors. They're just making it Forge World.
What I think is that they couldn't figure out a good way to integrate them into a box set.
Because they're out of Imperium factions to put it up against?
Pretty much. And they don't want to make new AdMech stuff.
Which they should. They should make new AdMech flyers.
Please.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
I want a World War II... No, sorry. Backing that up. I want a World War I biplane.
Give me biplanes or give me death.
With a propeller
Yeah.
on the front that is somehow in the 41st millennium. That's what I want from an AdMech air support.
I want airships.
I want a Skitarii with a Red Baron scarf and the goggles in that pilot seat.
I'm going to write that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
no,
I
that'd be
want.
sick.
I want that. That would be the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We have the Archaeocopters. We have the Da Vinci plane things.
The
You know,
Archaeocopters. Archaeo out of nowhere.
basically.
Yeah.
We have those things already, and I want to see. I love wacky AdMech stuff. It's one of my favorite parts of 40K.
Yeah, and they don't get enough of it, I fear.
Except for building it, which is always a bear, and painting it, which is also a bear. Honestly, yeah, just not interacting with it. I love it.
You like looking at it.
Yes. We were talking about getting into Aeronautica Imperialis. I think you were playing orcs though.
No.
No.
Tau.
Oh, Tau. Okay.
I have the box. You're thinking of Josh.
Oh, okay.
Josh, who is the Orkman.
Because I'm playing Imperial.
Yeah.
Because
as you do.
Or specifically Astra Militarum.
Okay.
Because Valkyries are cool. I
You
guess.
gotta.
So this doesn't really affect either of us.
Not really, no.
I don't really know any Necron players who are going to play Aeronautica.
No, but I
Also-
do know some people who are really into Aeronautica. Or
Yeah,
think
to
they're
be
pretty
fair, we
cool.
have not yet played our first game. Mostly because, again, diving into Necromunda.
Yep. And also, there aren't enough days in the week.
Yeah, that's where I'm running into. Too many games, not enough time.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just quit all my jobs and somehow still afford models,
Yeah.
then I could play all the games I wanted to.
Telling you. But yeah, that's cool. It's Forge World is where specialist models go because they're not 100% certain they'll sell them.
Right,
And if all the new update stuff goes to Aeronautica or goes to Forge World for Aeronautica, I won't be shocked.
no,
But it's like, oh yeah, no, it'll still get support.
they put out their box sets, and
Yeah.
now everything else new might be resin.
Yeah, just because it's
yeah.
easier on production lines.
Well, more importantly, the cost of a resin
Mhm.
mold is 3 to 4 figures.
Substantially less.
The cost of a plastic mold is 5 figures minimum.
Yeah.
For high detailed molds. So yeah, it's a return on investment thing.
It is what it is. It'll be fine. Imperium magazine is coming to the States.
Yeah,
Not sure how I feel about that, considering I have all the models anyway.
that's the problem. It's coming to the States so late
Yeah.
that I think most people. Well, I say that.
Mhm.
It's not like new people aren't getting into 40K every day.
Yeah.
And this is what that's engineered toward.
Mhm.
And Games Workshop historically, and by historically I mean 10 plus years ago, is about when this tide started to change.
Yeah. They got a
Games
new
Workshop-
CEO.
Yeah, Games Workshop used to not give the slightest squat in a donut about new people joining. They just said, okay, you want to join? Okay, you can join.
Yeah.
Buy a 2,000-point army. No, we don't care how.
Zog
No,
off.
it's not cheap. It's
No.
really expensive. Why is nobody playing our game?
Weird.
And this combat patrol and kill team, all this started as pushes to have smaller games that give people room to grow.
Yeah.
And the Imperium looks to be a great avenue for that.
Mhm.
Personally, this doesn't appeal to me because I don't play
Yeah.
any of those armies and I don't care.
Yeah, like I have all the Space Marine stuff I want. I don't care about the Necrons, though I may pick up the book just because I need stuff to put on bases, like
yeah.
corpses.
Fair. Just
I mean,
bits.
yeah.
It didn't
And it's
seem-
also good to just have bits.
it
They're
didn't- it
all
didn't
push
seem
fit.
cheap enough for that for me.
Right. That's fair.
But that's very much a your mileage may vary
Yeah.
thing. So I won't be subscribing. Do we know when it's coming?
Didn't catch when, but soon enough that it's people are like
do we know
talking
the
about
USD
it.
price?
Let's find out.
You know.
It's going to be $7.
We have the game around here somewhere.
Available January 26th.
Work rage balance. I love that.
Yeah. It's going to be $7. So the first issue is going to have Primaris Lieutenant, a Royal Warden, both models that are not available at retail at this point.
Oh yeah.
It's going to have a battle mat or a gaming mat, one of the kind of softy battle mats, and 6 dice, and a little 12-inch ruler.
Well, I mean, for Games Workshop, 6 dice alone is worth $7. So.
Anyway, so by the time you're done collecting all of this stuff, you will have a bunch of terrain and a bunch of dudes.
It's functionally a full Sector Mechanicus set and a full Necron army and a full Imperial Soup army that you can't really run as that anymore because they kind of changed that from 8th edition when Soup was big.
Yeah, every month we send you the pack directly to your house. You only charge you each time we send a pack. Each pack will contain 4 magazines plus the minis, paints, accessories, vehicles, or other scenery. Wow, actually, it's not a hugely bad.
CJ's selling himself on this.
I am a little bit. You get a free issue. You get binders and dividers. You get brushes. Like, do
the binders have sisters in them? It's a binders full of women jokes.
No, I know.
You know it's coming.
I just, there's like a special binder where you can keep your army lists organized and stuff. And again, you get a large base brush, a medium layer brush, and a medium shade brush for free. I'm kind of selling myself on this, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I personally have no desire to paint any more sisters or space marines than I already have.
I don't see any sisters in here.
Am I thinking a different version?
I think you're thinking a different version.
I'm thinking a different version.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I retract all of that.
Okay, so here's what you get. First issue, it's a Lieutenant and a Royal Warden, the small mat, 6 dice and a ruler. Second issue is Runelord Brass Paint, a starter brush, and 3 Necron Warriors. After that, it's McCragg Blue, and 3 Assault Intercessors, which you can always use more of. And the fourth issue is going to be 3 Scorpec Destroyers, a Canoptic Plasma Sight, Lead Belcher Paint, and a large mat.
Ooh, Senior Scorpex.
Yeah.
But I was looking at the whole big picture where it's like the giant army. I thought that was by the time you're done, I thought you were getting like a collection, a mix of sisters, AdMech, and Marines. But I could be misremembering.
I can't see.
I'm seeing. No, this is all Marines.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Apologies, I was wrong.
Wait.
Wrong or not.
No, I can't. I can't rightly tell. It does look like they do have some Sisters of Battle.
Those are
in there.
absolutely Sisters of Battle in the front.
Okay. Yeah. That. Of course, we only have the first 4 issues.
Also, that's
announced.
Belsarius Call.
Well, I'll be dinged.
And those are servitors.
All right.
So yeah, so it does. Yeah, and I remember. This,
okay, yeah.
I remember this from the original release.
Okay.
From in the UK and Germany.
Right. We don't know if that's gonna ring true still.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna bet it does because
probably
molds are expensive. I'm assuming they just made their UK run and they shipped the molds across the sea to the Tennessee warehouse.
Very possible. Hey, we're finally done talking about Games Workshop stuff. Everybody get excited.
So thanks for this episode of Miniatures Rundown because we know you're all tuning out now.
Yeah. Hey, Epic Encounters by Steamforged Games is a great little self-contained D&D story.
Who is not sponsoring us.
Is not sponsoring us
but
yet.
you like them.
I do, yeah. I think their miniatures are great.
I've heard of them a lot. It's basically you buy a box basically chock full of minis, and the idea is like, hey, here's all the minis and stuff you need to run a really big encounter.
Yeah.
Thus the name Epic Encounters for Dungeons & Dragons.
Mm-hmm. And that's basically it. That's all you do.
And they're coming out with a new one?
Yeah, they're coming out with a couple new ones.
Nice.
Hang on, let me just... Steamforged Games is also the team that's coming out with the Resident Evil game.
That was where I know that name.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Resident Evil 2 board game.
Yeah, and they're also working on Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, no, they're doing Resident Evil 1 first, aren't they? Or is it... They did 2.
Yeah.
3 is in production, and they
3 is
started
in
the
production,
Kickstarter
yeah.
for Resident Evil 1, the board game.
Let me check. Well,
think.
I'll look right at it.
They did it in a weird order.
Yeah, late pledge on GameFound for Resident Evil board game Resident Evil 1 board game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. And the reason I know really care about Steam Forge is because they're the ones putting out the Monster Hunter World game.
Right. Well, because they have
Capcom.
they have a partnership with Capcom,
Yeah.
clearly.
So their newest epic encounters are Hall of the... these are the most recent ones. I have the Hydra one, the Swamp of the Hydra, which is really sick because it's a huge Hydra. They don't have them listed by what's most recent, but like they have the Hall of the Orc King. Oh, that's easy enough. Labyrinth of the Goblin Czar, and then we have things like Shrine of the Kobold Queen, Tower of the Lich Empress.
I think we actually carry
a bunch of them. Yeah,
Queen over there.
Yeah,
which is really cool. But anyway,
compatible with the 5th edition of the world's favorite role-playing game.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Not Dungeons nor Dragons. But yeah, they've got a whole bunch of the new ones coming out
Is
here.
she a dungeon? Is she a dungeon? It's the girl, eh? Eh? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah. Ah! That didn't work.
One of these days, I'm going to actually have a glass bottle here. And I'm going to be like, oh no, I've made a mess.
As long as you're vacuuming the carpet, man, I don't care.
Let's talk about reclaiming miniature games. Speaking of which, like Steamforge games.
Okay.
Like, so, I was on an episode of the Board Game Rundown, I want to say like a year ago.
Oh, that's the smell. I'm kidding. You don't smell. Neither do they.
Anyway,
board games and sadness.
Yeah. So, but there are a lot of board games that have miniatures in them, and in that they basically laid claim to everything that had a board in it. It's like, no,
So
40K is
so what you're asking is there a difference between a board game and a miniature game?
What's the appreciable difference between a board game and a miniature game? And at this point, I'm saying that if it's got miniatures in it, it's mine.
I'm going to
Blood Bowl is a miniatures game. It has a board in it. Shut up. Hero Quest is a miniatures game. Yeah, it has a board, but shut up. The miniatures are important.
I'm gonna toe the line here and say that a game can be a miniatures game and a board game.
I don't.
But it can also be one or the other. So for my prime examples, I'd point to things like Cursed City, which we're now allowed to talk about again because it's coming back, or Blackstone Fortress, or Hero Quest, or Warhammer Underworlds.
No, you see that you don't get it. You have to make sure that it's on one side or the other.
Oh, I can't do that.
We live in this binary universe where everything is stupid.
NB's forever.
Yeah.
I'm going full toe the line on this one.
Yeah.
I think a game is a miniatures game if it has if the focus of the game is the miniatures.
Right.
If the miniatures are merely kind of unimportant placeholders, I'm not calling it a miniatures game.
Right.
To me, a miniatures game is when the miniatures are the focus of the game in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
That is still nebulous.
BattleTech is a miniatures game.
BattleTech is a simulation gone terribly wrong.
Right, okay, yeah. BattleTech Alpha Strike is a miniatures game.
Yes. And I would still say BattleTech's a miniatures game just because, well, yeah, it's a board game and a miniatures game because it does have a board. But the board is a flat, featureless thing unless you add third-party stuff to it.
I would like you to call this a miniatures game, or not call this a miniatures game.
No, I think it is a miniatures game, but it can also be a board game.
Yes.
That's where I'm saying is that it can be both, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be one or the other. But I also as somebody who plays lots of board games and lots of miniatures games. So now on the opposite side, do we have Fallout Shelter behind us?
Somewhere.
Yeah, there's Fallout Shelter, which technically has miniatures in it, but they're small Vault Boys in 4 different colors, and that's it.
Those are tokens.
That's not a miniature game.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they are miniatures, though.
Right.
Like, I could paint those if I wanted to. They're detailed enough, but it's not a minis game.
No.
It's not the point.
No. Like, Horrified is a game that's out that has a bunch of minis in it, and they're really good-looking minis. But they're not
Another example I would
focus.
give is Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven has pretty nice miniatures. Gloomhaven is not a miniatures game.
No.
Gloomhaven is a board game / RPG.
Gloomhaven is an RPG with that has like a board game.
It's a guided RPG
that has it has a board game shackled to it.
Or something like that. So I know that's not the satisfying answer from
Not
me,
really, no.
But it's how I categorize it. Yeah, this is a miniature / board game.
Yeah.
This is completely a board game. This is a miniatures game. You know, a miniatures game to me is one where it's not about whether there's a physical board.
Right.
Because technically we use boards in some of our AOS games. You take 4 of them, you put them together.
Yeah.
Does that make Age of Sigmar a board game all of a sudden?
Well, depends on who you're talking to, I guess.
I don't think
so
in
either.
no universe. But I wouldn't call Warcry a board game.
Well, that's funny because I think Warcry is more of a board game than some of the other stuff we've described here.
To me, it's just a miniatures game with different rules because it's still about measuring and model placement.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. And the miniatures are very much the focus.
I was thinking, I misspoke on that one.
You also have the free ability to move around terrain.
That's what it is. I was thinking of the Catacombs one.
Oh.
That has more about
even
moving around
that's
that
just
map.
simulating the effects of being inside.
That's true.
But to be fair, in Old Edition Kill Team, Arena always felt more like a board game than normal Kill Team.
It's true.
But I like both, so...
Yeah, I have no problem with either, by the way. I want to stake claim to some of this stuff. I want to take it back. I'm taking it back for the minis.
Yeah, see, I think it's not something to be taken. It's just to be shared and thrown around.
So, speaking of sharing... I'm not sure where I was going with this.
You got a good segue for that, CJ?
So, speaking of sharing, hey, it's my... nerd railhead.
Oh, we're moving on to hobby time.
Yeah, hobby time.
Pin a note for later. Hobby time should be moved to the beginning, I think.
Yeah, I think so
it
too. I just happen to have made it.
I think
in
it
list.
just flows better when we're talking about ourselves and our crap.
Yeah.
To put our minis in our crap.
Yeah,
anyway.
But if we put mini time at the end, or if we put hobby time at the end, then people will be forced to listen to the whole thing.
That would imply that someone was listening to this. I mean, I'm just going to stop there.
Yeah.
But that would imply that someone was listening to this to listen to our hobby time.
That's very true. As was my assignment last 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have painted up my Tau Hammerhead as a Nazca class battleship from Gundam Seed because I have a buddy who is doing a Xeon specific Tau army, and I don't want to step on his toes.
Fair enough.
And I'm just all my stuff is just all mechs all the time. But I found this really, really nice turquoise color that I really like from Army Painter.
It is a nice bright turquoise.
Yeah, it's Hawk turquoise under a different name, which suits me just fine because I like this color.
Oh, paint by any other name does smell as sweet.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me, we need to have a talk about the speed paint stuff that's coming out soon.
I think we'll wait till we get our hands on it.
Yeah, once we get our hands on it.
Spoiler, I'm excited.
Yeah. It looks great. I can't wait for Absolution Green, which is definitely not Dark Angels Green. Anyway, jokes aside. Had a pretty good time painting this. It was nice to have a guide because when you're just cribbing from somebody else's design. And obviously, didn't really work on this very much when I was coughing and hacking a lot because it turns out that trying to hold a brush when you're like...
Mildly difficult. Yeah, plus it just saps the energy out of you.
It really
when
does.
I get sick, it's the worst of both worlds because I'm at home and I can't paint because I have no energy.
Right, yeah.
It's
I want to do stuff, but I don't have any energy to do it. This is not a finished color scheme quite yet. I'm probably going to put some more details on it, but I think for a 3-color standard, this is pretty good. And also, I'm a horrifically lazy painter, but I'm happy to have it done.
Speaking of horrifically lazy painting, we're going to do that Zenithal evangelism episode sooner or later. Gonna make you.
Yeah, this is it.
Because I'm gonna show you how much lazier you could be. You think you're lazy? Those are rookie lazy. You gotta pump that lazy up. You gotta be even lazier.
Son, I was being lazy before you were born.
Yeah, but I'm here to tell you that you could be lazier, CJ. You could put down with just 2 coats of black and a white, and then a single coat and make it look like you know how to blend with no other effort. And
you could be lots lazier. You could be our editor.
And the speed paints are gonna be amazing for that. Which is when we're gonna do that episode after we get our hands on those speed paints.
They're cheaper than contract
and that's
paint.
why, because I don't have to say, hey, CJ, go up buy a bunch of paints.
Yeah. True enough. Joke's on you. I already own most of the contrast.
So do I. And I like contrast.
Yeah, I do
I just
too.
wish they were cheaper. There's some of them I don't like.
Yeah.
And specifically the turquoise and the blue. So that wouldn't
Yeah,
help you
the ones that were noted to have sucked already.
Pterodon
Turquoise is great.
Pterodon turquoise is great. Aethermatic blue is great.
For where, how, when?
For a very, very light blue.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I got my skinks painted with that.
Achelian green is the worst green in the world, but it's a very nice blue.
Yeah, it's a great blue.
Yeah. I know we're not the first to make that joke, but God, why?
Yeah.
Games Workshop. Maybe it's because the Achelians are underwater and they can't see the difference between blue and green.
Yeah, well.
When you're hiding from some,
I don't want to go in the water, fish poop in there.
Ew.
So yeah, how about your hobby time?
So my hobby goal was to put paint to brush every single day.
Mm-hmm. Did you do that?
Not every single day.
Okay.
Once school started, that became untenable.
Figured that was going to be a problem.
I do hobby time every day. And I have gotten a lot of painting done. So I'm going to flash some pictures up here right now. I've painted 2 separate terrain sets.
Cool. I was going to say you were working on that from...
Yeah, 3 separate paint sets for Mark here at the shop. The rocks, the ruins, and then the canyon rocks.
Got it.
All of those using Vince V's stone tutorial, which is fantastic and made it so easy when you can paint terrain entirely with dry brushes and washing.
Cool.
And tufts.
Tufts.
Yes, lots of tufts, which you also dry brush and wash. That's the secret. That's the secret people don't do. They put tufts on there and they stick out because they're not blended. You put the same wash in the dry brush you do on everything else. Suddenly those tufts match everything.
Cool.
And it looks like you are a master. And you're not. You just...
Yeah, no, you're just...
you put Agrax Earthshade on a tuft.
You're not a master, but you are clever.
Yes. And
that counts.
Don't
that
work
counts
harder,
for
work
something.
smarter.
Yep.
I also have started building all my Necromunda stuff in preparation for the gang. I'm about halfway through building my Escher gang. And I need to build all the terrain, too. That's what I'm trying to do. Because our session 0 is this Sunday. And then next Sunday will be our first game.
Yep.
I need to have both my team. It's not going to be painted by then, I'm sure. But I would like to have it at least primed. And then the terrain.
So...
At least some usable.
Yeah. So what would you like your assignment to be?
Oh, I hate the idea of assigning myself things. I already have a job already.
Yeah, I know, but like... Okay,
but
here's a
goal,
list of things that you could do.
My personal goal is by the start of the Necromunda game next Sunday, so a week and a half from today, I'm going to have my Escher entirely built and primed.
Built and primed. All right, that's
now,
a good start.
Priming will mean that I need to pick a color scheme. Because if I'm priming in warm colors, or if I'm painting warm colors, I need to prime more colors.
Right.
And if I'm doing what I'm thinking of doing, which is painting goth Escher, then I need to prime in dark colors. What?
I know which one I want you to do.
I mean, I'm just thinking of, because you see Escher, I hate painting yellow.
I'm an old mall goth.
And I've heard, don't worry, I'm very familiar with the idea of underpainting yellow with pink to make it easier.
Right, yeah.
I still don't like painting yellow, and I just don't like the color very much.
I don't really know.
It does work well in Escher, but I just don't want to do yellow Escher. But I'm thinking the problem with black, especially painting black clothing, is also pretty difficult. Because painting black is doing this weird thing about understanding that the highlights are basically white and the shadows are basically black. And I don't like painting black. But
you could if you weren't a coward. Okay, so
I said I didn't like it. I didn't say I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
No,
funny
how that works.
Black is not a color I've learned how to paint well yet. But I was thinking of that, but maybe also just dark purples and blues.
Yeah,
or kind of going the blues, pinks, and purples, kind of a vaporwave-ish. Pulling a Dana Howell and making my vaporwave.
There's somebody else in here who's doing vaporwave Eldar, and just like, huh.
Well, people call it vaporwave when it's anything remotely purple and blue and 80s.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But to be fair, Necromunda is very 80s.
It's true.
And Escher, especially, is a very 80s house. They are literally 80s punks.
No, they're the ones that sell everybody the drugs.
Gee, I wonder why.
Wonder what the 40K word for cocaine is.
I knew this.
Obscura, actually.
Yeah, I
realized.
Yeah, no, there's literally is.
Oh shoot.
Yeah,
I was like, ha ha ha, funny joke. Oh wait.
No, sorry, I was just reading House of Blades. They have an entire list of the drugs that you can make. Yeah, and use on yourself. You can make drugs for you. You can make drugs for your guns. You can make drugs for your weapons. It's great.
Fascinating, Captain. My
goal is to have my Escher entirely built, primed, so color scheme chosen. I'm also going to say my goal is to have one Escher picked out and blocked, like my colors blocked. And then I also like to have at least my Underhive market assembled and primed.
Okay, cool. I was telling myself this the other night that I want to get my Deepkin on bases
Mm-hmm.
because half of them are sharks and they have those ding dang stupid bases or the stupid flying stands.
Yes, I hate flying.
I hate
stands.
their flying stands. But maybe that's my goal is
Put them on bases.
get them on bases so I can finish painting.
I should teach you things about water effects.
I have water effect things.
I know, but I should teach you things about water effects.
Well,
It's not. Again, it's about you need to up your lazy game.
fair enough. So what I'm gonna say is that I want to get by our next meetup here, should be 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get my sharks all on bases and finished and built and cleaned up. So I basically want to finish 4 sharks, which shouldn't be hard because they're mostly painted already.
Right? Yeah.
But
to say, I've seen your sharks; they're painted, or mostly.
They have paint on them.
Right? Yeah.
They're not finished built, and they're not on bases for the most part. And I'm gonna make a concerted attempt to magnetize them. Because those flying bases can just.
I hate flying bases. I use brass rod.
Yeah.
And paint it black.
I don't know. I'll
You
put
just do
some,
kabuki theory. Black means it doesn't exist. It's the ninja thing, yeah. Put your hood down and then there you go. Oh, where'd he go? Where'd he go? I don't see him.
Ore wa Kuroko. It's me again.
Aha.
I'm Kuroko. I'm gonna go play basketball now. Anime jokes. Hey, anyway.
All right. Anything else you want to sign off with?
No, I think I'm good. Where can we find the dumb crap that we do online other than here?
Oh, I don't want to tell anybody any of my other stuff.
Okay.
Because it's all terrible.
Well, you can find my awful garbage anime stuff.
Also, I literally cannot remember my Instagram or Twitter handles right now.
Okay. Yeah, you can actually follow us on Instagram. It's miniatures. I believe it's miniatures_rundown.
We have an Instagram?
We sure do.
What do we post there?
Not a lot.
You need to give me the login information.
Yeah,
I can
sorry.
post things
Yeah,
there.
it's miniatures_rundown. I used to, when I was taking pictures more regularly of our Monday and Tuesday night games.
Aha.
But here's
the Crusher Stampede.
Yeah, from the big games we had a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. But it's hey, look, it's my towel.
Yeah, your Farsight.
Yeah. So that's miniatures_rundown. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us here, obviously. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stupid crap. Ring the little bell. Say hi to the little man in the boat. I don't know.
Second time you made the man in the boat joke, and I still don't get it.
Oh, look, it's a little man in the boat.
References I don't understand.
How do you get in that boat? He's so little. Anyway.
He rode. Well, that's it for the Miniatures Rundown podcast. If you enjoyed our yammering, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If you have any suggestions, we are all ears. I promise I might read them. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Episode 3.
3.
And the number of the episode shall be 3.
5, sir. 5.
Well, unlike them,
3,
we will
sir.
then proceed to 4.
Right.
And also 5, which is not right
out.